Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a topic that totally operates behind the scenes, but it literally impacts your bottom line every single day. We're talking about the complex, often messy world of government policy. We're going to explore exactly how external political forces shape your business, and more importantly, how you can proactively master this landscape instead of just getting caught off guard.
Which brings us to a really critical, unavoidable question. Is your organization prepared? Because government policy has the power to shift markets, rewrite regulations, and completely change business opportunities overnight. Think about it. A single new regulatory framework, it could open up a massive new revenue stream, or it could turn into a total compliance nightmare. So when those sudden shifts happen, are you caught flat-footed, or are you actually ready?
All right, let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll be covering 1. The policy challenge. 2. What is public affairs? 3. Linkonize core services. 4. The 5-step process. And finally, 5. The strategic advantage. Let's jump right in.
Starting off with Section 1, the policy challenge and dealing with unpredictable change.
Now, we have to face reality here. It isn't just about big, sweeping laws making the evening news. It's the constant, everyday drip of new legislation, evolving regulations, public consultations, and shifting political priorities. All of these factors are continually pulling the strings on your daily operations, your investments, and ultimately your long-term growth. Navigating this whole web requires so much more than just reacting to the news cycle after the fact. You absolutely need an evidence-based, proactive strategy to see those curves in the road way before you actually hit them.
Moving on to Section 2. What is public affairs? Bridging the gap.
So before we can solve this policy puzzle, we really need to define the specific tool we're using, and that's public affairs consulting. Now, this goes way beyond traditional PR. It's the strategic process of helping organizations understand and effectively respond to political, legislative, and regulatory developments. Basically, it acts as a bridge. It connects your organization directly to lawmakers through highly informed, constructive engagement. It's all about playing the long game, preparation, and relationship management.
That brings us to Section 3, Linkonize core services and their integrated solutions.
What's super interesting here is that Linkonize doesn't just toss out generic advice. Instead, they categorize their approach into two really powerful, symbiotic pillars. Over on one side, you've got deep, data-driven intelligence gathering. That means tracking legislation, monitoring regulations, and doing heavy policy analysis. On the other side, they pair that hard data with highly strategic engagement and outreach, so government relations, stakeholder engagement, strategic communications, the whole shebang. Because let's be real, you need the intelligence to inform the outreach, and you absolutely need the outreach to act on that intelligence.
Let's actually zoom in on legislative tracking for a second, because this is kind of where the magic happens. Policy developments start brewing long before a bill gets signed into law, right? By actively tracking things like proposed bills, parliamentary activity, and committee hearings, you gain this crucial early awareness. And that early awareness is a real game changer. It drastically reduces business uncertainty and empowers you to make much better decisions before your competitors even know what hit them.
All right, Section 4, the 5-step process for a proactive strategy.
So how do we take all these amazing intelligence and outreach tools and actually put them to work? Linkonize uses a 5-step continuous workflow. Step 1 is discovery, really nailing down your unique objectives. Step 2 is intelligence gathering, to monitor the landscape, and that directly feeds into Step 3, strategy development. After that comes implementation. And finally, Step 5, evaluation and continuous improvement. You see, public affairs is never just a one-and-done project. It's a living, breathing strategy that has to adapt right alongside your business.
Focusing specifically on Step 3 for a moment, strategy development, this phase is where you get these incredibly powerful, tailored tools. Once the intelligence is gathered, Linkonize builds out your specific playbook. We're talking targeted government engagement plans, specialized stakeholder communications, or even coalition building. Every single tool here aligns perfectly with your unique goals, making sure every move you make is calculated and actually tied to your bottom line.
Which leads us to Section 5, the strategic advantage and sustainable growth.
Let's zoom out a bit. Why is this structured approach literally an absolute necessity? Well, it's a massive shift in operational philosophy. The old reactive approach is just incredibly risky. Ignoring policy until it's knocking at your door leads to compliance risks, operational uncertainty, and just disjointed, panicked responses. But the Linkonize methodology shifts you to strategic public affairs. In this posture, you're anticipating developments, drastically cutting down risk, building solid relationships, and paving a much smoother runway for sustainable growth.
Now, if you're sitting there wondering, wait, does this actually apply to us? The answer is almost certainly yes. From major corporations and agile startups all the way to NGOs, investors, and public sector groups, no organization operates in a vacuum, completely safe from government influence. If you are operating in any policy-sensitive industry, this kind of structured support isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely vital for your leadership team to succeed.
So the big takeaway here is pretty clear. If your organization wants to stay ahead of legislative and regulatory changes, and if you really want to build resilient stakeholder relationships, it's time to stop reacting and start strategizing. Linkonize is ready to help you transform these complex policy environments into clear, actionable strategies. You can dive deeper and learn more by visiting Linkonize.com.
Because at the end of the day, external policies are constantly quietly shaping the parameters of your business. The environment is shifting whether you participate in it or not. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you going to let the government dictate your future from the sidelines, or are you going to proactively step up, take control, and become a constructive participant in the policies that govern your success? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.